Everybody, it's Pandy, and I'm playing World of Tanks. I want to start making some British tank videos. Yeah, I've done one on the Churchill on the Russian side, the lean-lease version of it all, I guess you can say. But I haven't done one on the British tanks with British crew members doing their British things, drinking their British tea. I haven't yet. Not yet. So I want to start it off with some of the Tier 2s and Tier 3 British cruiser tanks. Since all these cruiser tanks have been using autocannons, I want to give everyone a warning that you need to, like, if you have problems, like looking at flashy things and stuff, this will give you kind of like a crazy headache. But I figured since there's going to be a lot of flashy, rapid-firing things, I'm going to do a rapid-fire video release thing. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of flashy things, so you just got to be careful. So just fair warning, you've been warned. And since I'm going to be doing this whole thing out of British tanks, I figured I'd start from the top of the order with the Tier 2 and Tier 3 trees. So the bottom line is the British tanks are incoming, and I'm going to focus heavily on the British tanks for the next little while. I don't know how long, but probably like the next 3 or 4 video releases. I don't know yet. But what I want to do is start this whole thing off with the Cruiser Mark 1 A9. This is the very first, Tier 2 tank that you get that's actually, a Tier 2 tank. Well, it's one of a few, but, besides the point. In the early 1930s, the British War Office conducted a study based off of their experiences with armored fighting vehicles during the Great War. This study was restrictive in its nature, and it concluded that there's going to be 2 different types of armored tanks in the future of the British Army. One of them is going to be the heavy armored infantry vehicle, and the other one's going to be a mobile cruiser vehicle, something that's quick, fast, and able to get behind people. Sir John Cardson was asked in 1934 to develop an economically sound tank as a replacement for some of the aging medium tanks that they currently had in use. He finished the prototype sometime in 1936. It became one of the first British tanks to have a centrally located turret with a high-velocity 2-pound main gun. The chassis also featured 2 smaller machine guns on either side of the driver for infantry support, and also to counter infantry. The prototype was put on trials and was accepted in 1937 with an order of 125 due for delivery by January of 1939. The chassis Mark I was used in combat during the French, Greek, and North African campaigns. It was found that the 2-pounder's performance against German and Italian tanks during those campaigns were very effective. However, by the point that the Germans were producing the Panzer IVs with greater numbers, with greater amounts of armor, and basically a bigger gun by 1941, the Mark I met its maker. It was also found that some of the other anti-tank guns were able to even penetrate the frontal gun turrets of these tanks, making them very vulnerable to infantry. Something with a 50 cal type of firearm would be able to penetrate that front armor. It was withdrawn from service when the cruisers' numbers became more significant and started replacing them in the North African campaign. In War of the Tanks, the Mark I cruiser was surprisingly good. I don't know. It's pretty good. The firepower from the 40mm pom-pom was rather decent and fun. My experience with the 40-pounder was with the Mark III cruiser, but I rather enjoyed it on that tank, so I figured I would enjoy it on the Mark I. It generally can penetrate most targets decently from up close and personal, but it's not really suited for sniping. If you try to snipe with it, you're not going to have a good time. As long as the target's armor is thin, though, it performs outstandingly. However, once you get about 200 meters away from your target that has 30mm worth of armor, frontal armor, you're royally fucked. So up and close and personal is where the pom-pom is boss. Now, the armor on the Cruiser Mark I is kind of like the armor on most Tier 2 tanks. The armor itself doesn't really provide all that much protection when you come down to it. It's not really all that good, and generally, you just want to try not to get hit. You might get a lucky deflection off the sides of the turret sometimes, but some of the smaller autocannons that comes with those Panzer Is will just murder you, mainly because your frontal armor has those 2 machine gun turrets. You'll just get fucked. So generally, just don't get hit. Kill your enemy before he gets to shoot you. Tomato, tomato. Sainte punta. War roll. Now, the mobility on the Cruiser Mark I is okay. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad or horrible. It's not good. It's not anything. I mean, it's okay. It being a light tank, I really expected something that was much more mobile, but it's not really all that mobile. There's quite a few tanks like that out there, but this is especially felt on this thing. You don't really have that pick up and go, but once you're going downhill, it does pick up speed pretty good. I mean, it'll get up to about 30 to 35, so it's okay. I'm not really impressed, but it gets to A to B pretty decently. It's not the fastest fastest, and don't expect it to be the fastest. My overall impression of the Cruiser Mark 1 is that it's a heavy, light tank, something along those lines. It's not one of those tanks that would survive very long in the high tier battles as a scout. And when I mean high tier battles, you're a tier 2, you're seeing like tier 4s. You rarely get to see that happen, but every once in a while it kind of pisses you off and you go like, why? It does, however, provide a good solid start to the British heavy line. It is a heavy tank feels to her, so I'm not like, I wasn't yelling or screaming during the video capturing process. It was actually quite a very enjoyable tank to play. I think it's pretty decent. It's good. I mean, it does what it does. It is what it is. You can't have everything. You can't win every time. That's what I say. Now we get to that part of the video where I get to give away some gold. And since I'm doing this rapid fire video thingy for the cruiser tanks, I figured I'd do something a little more generalized and different for the overall video releases of the cruiser tanks. I figured what I'll do is I'll give away 6 months of premium or equivalent to the North American, European, or C server. Yes, the C server doesn't have 6 months of premium package gift thingy. I know. That's why I said equivalent. Now, to be picked, you just need to post a comment in any one of the cruiser videos, maybe about the video question, this one right here, which is, what is your most favorite British tank in World of Tanks? I have to say, so far, it's the Comet. It's the highest tier British tank I currently have that's fully upgraded, so I have to like it because it's the highest one, and it is generally legitly pretty fun. I do like it, and I'll get to a video doing that one here soon, mainly, I don't know, probably this month. Yeah, maybe not. But we'll find out together. I'm going to be doing a bunch of British tanks, so I will be getting to it soon enough. So I thank you guys for watching. I am Pandy, and good hunting.